The big moment came, I can still remember it like now, that I looked out at the scene and it was one burned out building after another, cars and bumper to bumper on this one-way street, and police cars with sirens, and people filled the sidewalks, and the people were laughing, arguing, yelling, and children were playing in these rubble-filled lots. And I said, wow, this is chaotic. This is really something.
That was 1977 in New York on the Lower East Side. Helen M. Stummer was about to become a photographer, although she didn't know it yet. She'd already had quite a life. Pregnant at 15, married and divorced twice, and now back to college in her 30s where she was taking art classes. Photography, she thought, would help with her paintings. But East 6th Street and the people there became her focus.
I didn't have a clue until recently, really know that this scene and this chaos was connected with my whole remembrance of growing up.
Helen tells her story in Risking Life and Lens, a photographic memoir, published by Temple University Press.
My gut wanted to document my growing up. My brain didn't know anything. It just went along. I go along with my gut. I've always have. So all my pictures really are self-portraits. They're metaphors for my own growing up.
You learn that Helen's childhood wasn't happy. Now she sees how it's connected with the people and places she photographed over the years.
They're economically deprived. It's money. I grew up in what I call an emotionally deprived environment. I mean, we had a nice house. It was a good area, a nice house, nice furniture, but it was emotionally deprived. And emotional deprivation is much more invisible. Economic deprivation is much more visible. So a lot of my pictures reflect children being loved, being held, caring pictures. You know, I love that. I still love that. When I see somebody caring for something, I don't care if it's a cat or a dog, I don't care what it is. I respond, I love it. There's still that, you know, I long for that. And I love the way children play and how they, you know, overcome or rise above their environment. Look at the little fork here and the fork there. They're playing, real playing, and they're intent.
But the environments were chaotic and dangerous, and Helen couldn't ignore this. She tried to help, always, bringing food and clothes, making calls, but mostly by taking pictures. Eventually, she earned her master's degree in visual sociology.
By merely identifying a problem, you are taking sides. And going back to the roots of sociology, people like Jacob Riis, they weren't going into tenements just to portray the way people were living. They had a prescriptive mission. They wanted things to not be so miserable. The fact that she felt that way and the fact that she felt invested and wanted change puts her in the greatest tradition of sociology.
Helen's photographs now show history as well. East 6th Street has been gentrified, and even Newark's Central Ward, where she took pictures for over 30 years, has changed. She first found herself there when she took a wrong turn one day on her way to an appointment.
Instead of making a left turn, I made a right turn by mistake and ended up in Newark. And I'm driving around and I'm saying, what am I doing on East 6th Street anyway? Because this is worse than East 6th Street. This is just as bad, and I don't have to pay for the tolls, and it's easier to drive too. So I drove around Newark for a couple of years, maybe even 3 years, before I found places that I felt attracted to or pulled toward or something. And I finally did find that. Building 322 on Irving Turner Boulevard. People said, don't go up there because it's really one of the worst buildings in Newark. There's dope, there's prostitution, there's all kinds of things. There's a lot of muggings going on there. I'm scared, you know. But I kept at it because I'm persistent.
During these years, Helen was teaching in high schools and college. She and her third husband, a professor at Kean University, lived in Metuchen, New Jersey, a comfortable suburb just a short commute to Irvine Turner Boulevard in Newark.
I would always drive home angry, always. I was angry because people had so little and suburban people had so much. There wasn't a bridge between the two. And I was hoping to actually build a bridge between the two. So it wouldn't be so nothing and everything. And so I would come home feeling angry about that and looking around my neighborhood and saying, I don't think people really appreciate what they have.
What you see is someone who is learning and growing while she is capturing these moments on streets, these moments in people's apartments and neighborhoods, capturing the growth of other people around her, parents and children, while she herself is developing as a scholar and as a photographer.
Since I haven't been able to photograph for many years now because of I had some broken spine bones, that's why I started painting again, because it at least gets me in touch with the creative part of me. I'm always searching, I'm learning, I'm always trying to find an answer. And I don't know what it is, it's elusive. It really is. I think people just have to become more aware. They need to become aware of different worlds, of different places, of different environments, just to educate themselves, to know, and to share, for goodness sakes. So I would love my work just so people become aware and do something. You know, shake up these politicians. Don't be afraid of them. They're only there because we allowed them to be there. I mean, really, we have a lot of power. Now we need to use it.
The New Jersey State Council on the Arts, encouraging excellence and public engagement in the arts since 1966, is proud to co-produce State of the Arts with Stockton University, New Jersey's distinctive public university. Additional support is provided by the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation.